Seen this lady make a video about how biracial kids are putting down other biracial kids if you have a black mom and if you have a white mom. Now, does it make you any less or more black? I don't really think so. I think it's one half dozen of the other altogether. Now, when it comes down to culturally, there is a big difference. Your mother is your nurturer. It's the one that shows you how to go through life. I could tell just by the way you're talking, your mother was white. I could tell by the way it comes off. Like, there's just a certain energy a black mother's gonna give to their kid that a white mother can't give to their kid. It's just not there. And I'm not trying to speak for the entire community of black people, but a lot of the time, if a black man gets married to a white woman, he has to suppress some of his blackness to cater to that white woman and their family. It just happens. But as a black women were oppressed for so long, they will never change how they move for a white man. So a white man will have to accept this black woman, how she comes and how she wants to raise her family. Think about it like this. If your father is black and your mother is white, your dad liked your mother for a reason. There's certain characteristics of the white woman and the white people he enjoys. So of course the mother of his kids will be teaching the baby how to be a lot like her. So put it in reverse. Think about having a white dad and a black mom. The white dad probably really liked the blackness coming from that woman right there. He probably really enjoyed that he was with a black woman. It was probably his favorite thing in the world. So he allows her to teach that kid how she sees fit.
A biracial child to a black woman is going to have a much different experience than a biracial child to a white woman. Because a black mom experience with racism and culture is what forces her to be aware in society. And so that influences how she raises her child. And women in the household tend to be the primary caregiver for their children, so the dad is just going to follow along. She's going to teach that to her child, which is going to influence the child to be a little bit more socially aware as well. Also, in the white man and black woman relationship, the white man tends to be more liberal and progressive in his thinking, not painting him as the white savior, but they tend to be a little bit more understanding and open-minded when it comes to diversity and understanding other cultures, whereas a black man will put his white woman on a pedestal simply because of the color of her skin, and she has the halo effect applied to her. White women know they have the halo effect applied to them, which makes them the quote-unquote standard in society, and so that dynamic is also integrated into the black man and white woman relationship. Because of the white woman's experience in this world, and she's constantly being put on a pedestal, and her dynamic in the relationship with her black male partner influences how the white woman raises her biracial child. The difference here is the black woman and the white woman have different levels of understanding what awareness is and how people of color are treated in this world. Because of the lack of awareness, the white mom initially puts the biracial child in a lot of white spaces, but then comes to find out that their biracial child is being rejected in those white spaces because those white people consider their biracial child to be black. So then the biracial child is put into black spaces and then realizes right away that they are being put on a pedestal because of their fair skin and their proximity to whiteness. And so they realize very early on that they can weaponize that and use it to their advantage. Whereas the biracial child of a black mom and a white dad is a little bit less likely to enter into a space like that head on because they've been raised to be a bit more aware because of the discrimination that the black mom has had to face, as well as they have probably had to face as well. So that same entitlement is not going to be displayed in the community. And I'm not saying that it doesn't happen, but a biracial child to a black mom tends to be a little bit more culturally aware than a biracial child to a white mom, because the biracial child to a black mom doesn't carry that same level of entitlement because the black mom never had the sense of entitlement in this world because society has told her that as a black woman, you do not hold value. So some of that same mindset and thinking is going to be carried over to the biracial child of a black mom. And just to clarify, I'm not saying that it doesn't happen. It's just a little bit less likely.
Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I hope you all are doing great and fine wherever you are watching this video from. So I came across several videos of biracial people speaking out about the differences they have noticed between being raised by a black mom versus being raised by a palm-colored mom. So before we continue, disclaimer, this video is not about tearing somebody down. It's about biracial people sharing out their real life experiences, their cultures, and the unique parenting styles that shaped their identity, because majority of them admitted the fact that black moms do it better. So let me know what you think about this in the comment section below. So guys, let's unpack this episode together. Kindly give the video a thumbs up and also subscribe if you are coming across Afrojudy's channel for the very first time.
I'm gonna need y'all white parents of biracial kids to listen in real quick. I'm gonna give you fair warning, this might be an uncomfortable conversation, but it's necessary. A lot of y'all's kids have complexes and identity issues, and it's not because they have a white parent. It's because a lot of y'all chose to have biracial kids before you unpacked your internalized racism and anti-blackness. It's because a lot of y'all have biracial children without learning enough about the black experience to guide your child through a black experience. To guide them through a world that is inherently anti-black. Cutting off your racist family members is not all it takes to raise a biracial kid. In fact, that doesn't even come close to the bare minimum. You can have the best intentions for your children while still causing them collective harm. And I first noticed this when my daughter was an infant and I started joining Facebook groups for parents of biracial kids. These white moms would have the best intentions, yet end up on Facebook crying about how their child was saying they didn't want to be black and they hated being black. And because these parents did not take the time to educate themselves whatsoever on systemic racism and anti-blackness on a level that they would be able to appropriately raise a biracial child, they were on the internet crying for help instead of helping their kid. You cannot shield your child from experiencing anti-blackness in the world, but you can equip them to deal with it. I get told pretty frequently that my daughter will be mistaken for a black mom biracial. Now I'm going to explain to you why. First and foremost, she is not raised in an anti-black environment. A lot of black men, white women relationships are inherently anti-black, due to the fact that the relationship is based on fetishization and the hatred of black women instead of mutual love. The way that I look at it, the world is constantly going to be hurling anti-blackness at my child. And instead of acting like it does not exist, I have been equipping my child since birth to be able to handle said anti-blackness through radical self-love and positive identity. My child has at a young age told me that she wanted to be white to match her family. Right then and there, we had a very long conversation about anti-blackness and racism at 4 years old, and how her blackness was the most beautiful part of her. She made a comment one time about her baby doll, her black baby with coily hair, being ugly. Again, we had a long discussion about colorism, texturism, and racism. After that day, that baby did not leave her hip. You cannot just be not teaching your kid to be anti-black. You have to be preparing them for an anti-black world. You have to ensure that you are not feeding your child a complex towards other black people, that you're showing them how to cherish and uplift their community. See, biracial kids with white parents can be raised to be pro-black, but many aren't. And that is because their environment and their role models are not pro-black. If you don't want your child to have identity issues, it starts with you. It is wholeheartedly possible for you to educate yourself. A lot of y'all simply choose not to. Do better.
Since we're on the topic of race, I think that this is a great story time opportunity to talk about my upbringing. I have a black mother and a white father. Growing up, I didn't know that I was different, but I knew that something was supposed to be a secret. Trigger warning, this is about racial passing and my experience growing up in my hometown back in the day. We moved from another state, and my grandma, who's white, she kept telling me, you can't go around telling people that your mom is black. You have to tell them that that's the nanny. When you go to school, like, don't mention your mom. It's like, why? I remember asking her why. And she was like, because it's gonna be harder for you. They're gonna treat you differently. They're gonna put you in stupid classes and all this stuff that she was telling me. But I knew for my grandmother, it was more of a social aspect. She didn't want people knowing that her grandchildren were like half black. In this elementary school I went to, I noticed that double fountains, not just like a small one and a big one, but it was like a small one and a big one and then another small one and a big one next to them. And it was always near the bathrooms. And I always questioned, why is there two girls' bathrooms like so close to each other and two boys' bathrooms so close to each other. I didn't know that my school was at one point a segregated school. Two black people in my whole school. Everyone else was white. My hair would curl because of the humidity, and my grandma wanted to erase the black. She wanted to erase the black. Back in the day, there was something called Japanese perms, a relaxer, and I would just remember my scalp burning in the shower. Other things that she would do, she would like, when you go to like the beauty supply store and you see like those like special soaps, she would put all those soaps on me and tell me like stay in the shade, squeeze my nose, thinking that it'll make it smaller. Starts questioning you, just say that you're Italian. And it's just crazy. So there was this black boy named Jeremy that like joined our class like mid-year. When I tell you, that's when I learned that they'll treat you differently. Jeremy wasn't allowed to go on the blacktop. Jeremy had to stay inside. Jeremy, obviously like schools have like funding for like kids that can't go to like certain like field trips. They'll leave Jeremy behind. The kids will call Jeremy and like the teachers would just like laugh about it. And I always felt like Jeremy knew that I was part black, but he didn't like no. Like he like felt it but didn't know. That's when I noticed like, oh shit, if I tell someone I'm black, like I'm gonna be treated like Jeremy. So I just didn't tell anyone. It wasn't like I was ashamed or something, but I was taught like this was something bad. There would be like parent-teacher conference, and my grandmother would show up in replacing my mom. My mom's very submissive, very sweet woman. Oh, you can't show up, you're gonna ruin this family, you're gonna ruin her opportunities if you tell people. I'm not one of those like self-hating, I'm not here like, oh, don't look at my mom, like none of that. Like me and my mom were really cool, like we really chill. She was just here like yesterday. But my grandma, trials and tribulations. So my mom one day randomly decided to show up to the elementary school, and it was my birthday. When people saw my mom, they thought it was the nanny. I guess I slipped and said mom. This girl, I forgot what her name was, like Crystal or whatever. She was like, and I was like, no, I'm not. So this Crystal girl went around, told everybody that I'm actually like black and making fun of me. They said, oh, that's why your hair looks like it's electrocuted. Like my teachers started asking me, they're like, are you? I was like, no, that's my nanny. That's not my mom. And I remember going home and I asked my mom, I was like, why can't I tell people you're my mom? And she was like, it's just for your own good. The moral of this story with the elementary school is that if I ended up telling people that I was black, I would have been in like these horrible classes. I wouldn't have been taught properly. I wouldn't have gotten like the new textbooks. They gave the black kids the old ass textbooks and had them in a different class. Like they would come for certain classes, but not all the classes. And you could just tell that they were like a little behind with school. And then I knew that, yeah, I was getting like good education, but I always like, it was nothing that I was like, oh, I'm ashamed of being this. It was like, why do I have to keep this secret? And nobody looked like me. And I was just so confused as a kid. But then when I got to high school, that's when I started noticing that people say some wild ass shit. I went to high school, people started calling people hard ERs, there's more black people, and nobody knew. And then I think it was my junior year, I just like told everyone, I'm like, you guys know I'm half black, right? Nobody believed me. This is my mom, showing them pictures, showing them my cousins and all this stuff. I like finally, like I used to like relax my hair like all the time. And then I finally like let my hair grow. I just like lived in my truth, and yeah, they treated me a little differently after that. But I felt so happy to just like not live with this weird secret. But then now I understand why my mom, well, it wasn't really my mom, it was my grandma. It was not like the imitation of art where I was trying to disown my mother and live my life as a white woman. That was not the case.
I don't know, like as an adult looking back at it, I can imagine how confused I was as a child. I never like I said, hated my mom or felt like I was ashamed of being black. I just knew that I saw that if I told people, I would be treated differently. And so that's where the whole like light skin privilege and all this stuff and this whole biracial talk that's going on TikTok is like trending, because they're like, you don't know what it's like. And yeah, like I don't know what it's like, but I saw, and I also had a black mom, and I saw her experiences, and I saw how like my father's family treated her, and to this day I don't really like fuck with them like that.
So, guys, welcome back. One thing that comes up again and again in these stories is how a black mom raises her kids with a deep sense of resilience. Now, for instance, the case of these biracial people who will inevitably face questions about their identity in the society. A black mom is more likely to prepare them for the realities of race in the society. And one thing, a black mom will not sugarcoat the world. She will just be making sure that her children knows how to walk through it with strength, because it's something that she has been facing, she has been experiencing, and it's upon her to prepare her kids in future how they will walk in through that, because minus that, the kids will be traumatized in future. They will not have adequate answers or how to comfort themselves in case they experience such kind of questions. And it's something which is there. Whether you are raised by a black mom, whether you are raised by a white mom, and you are a biracial person, just know that in future your identity must be questioned by people, even though not all people will do that, but majority of the people will start questioning your identity, and even an extent of asking you the reason as to why you chose being raised by a black mom or by a white mom, but not rather than one race. Those are some kind of questions the biracial people will be facing in the society. Then another thing is about discipline. Uh, Biracial folks say that their black moms, they didn't play around when it comes to respect, accountability, and responsibility. And now, this is not even about biracial people. If you are raised by a black mom, you know how they always do it when it comes to discipline. You will be forced to be automatically disciplined, because minus that, they won't even be joking with you. And if you want anything and you are not respectful in future, maybe you want a gift, maybe you want something for school or at home, and you are not respectful, you know how the black moms always do it. They really don't joke around when it comes to discipline, because they want their kids to be straightforward and respectful, and even take accountability of the things they have done. And the biracial people came out clearly and said that their black moms really didn't joke about it. But those who are raised by white moms say that it's very rare for their moms to explain to them certain things, especially when it comes to the race matters, and also they are not being prepared well about facing those kind of questions about their identity in future. When it comes to discipline, they are not well prepared about taking accountability of whatever they have done. And now the key thing is cultural connection. Culture plays a very massive role in this circumstance. For instance, a black mom is often the one passing down the traditions, the music, the food, and even that sense of belonging to the black community. And for a biracial child who might feel caught between the two words, that connection can be grounding. I know these biracial people, it reaches a point that they might be traumatized and start asking themselves the reason as to why they were raised in that family. And the black mother, her role is to make sure that her kid is not traumatized in future. She will start preparing her kid about it as early as possible when the kid is still young. So by the time the kid grows up, he or she knows exactly how to get prepared in the society when it comes to such kind of matters. And uh, the biracial kid, they are not fully tapped into Black culture. The child may feel a gap in their identity, being that they are raised by Black mom and a white dad, or they are being raised by a white mom and a Black dad. And I was asking myself the reason as to why these biracial people are majorly talking about the differences they have noticed between being raised by a Black mom and a white mom, but rarely do they speak about the differences they have noticed between being raised by a Black dad and a white dad. I really want to know their side of story when it comes to dad, but not mom, because for mom, I've had several stories. Now, if you're a biracial person watching this video, can you share your experience about the differences you've noticed being raised by a Black dad or by a white dad, and how are they preparing you for the future? And now, to be fair, many biracial kids, they also mention that their white moms, they tend to lean into gentleness, open communication, and emotional support. It's not that one is better universally, it is just a different style. Some people even say the white mom's patience and nurturing balance out the toughness of their Black side of the family. You know how the Black moms are always tough. Like, if I remember how my mom was tough on my side, for real, I can't even lie about it when biracial people speak about this, because it's something which is there. Even I've watched several videos of people on the social media saying that their moms, the Black moms, are so strict. They don't joke about anything small. Like, they just want you to be raised as a disciplined kid in the society. And so when biracial people make that bold claim that Black moms are better, some people always say that they should not say that all moms are doing good work. But in reality, now we have a special situation here. These are biracial people, and now we are from the same race, like being raised by a Black mom and a Black dad, and those are being raised by Black dad and a white mom, or white dad and Black mom. So they have different experiences. Let me know what you think about this. Do you agree that biracial people admitted that Black moms are doing it better? Do you agree that Black moms are doing it better, or white moms are doing it better? Let me know in the comment section. Thank you so much, guys, for watching this video. I honestly appreciate your massive love and support. Let's keep the conversation going, and also we learn from each other in the comment section. I'm your presenter, Judy. Until next time, let's meet on my next episode. Peace and love.